Hello, good day, my SM viewers. This is Satellite Media. Let us look at what is happening in the country, particularly in the eastern part of the country, in relation to the agitation for the sovereign state of Biafra and the detention of Nnamdi Kanu. We are looking at it from the point of view of whether people have right of self-determination, and secondly, whether the continuous detention of Nnamdi Kanu is necessary or not. We understand that Nnamdi Kanu have been accused of terrorism-related offenses, though we have a situation where Court of Appeal have ruled that he was extraordinarily rendition from Kenya to Nigeria, a situation that made Court of Appeal in Nigeria to order his release unconditionally. Though the federal government appealed that judgment, and the case was supposed to start de novo, meaning going to start afresh. But as we have it, Nnamdi Kanu himself has since asked Justice Binta Anyaku to recuse herself from the case, and the case is yet to be assigned to another judge. But beyond prosecution, beyond allegation, beyond who did what, I think the important thing is, how do we have a peaceful environment? I think that is what is paramount for me. Because the way it stands, if every stakeholder for the region is saying, release this man for peace to reign in the eastern part of the country, because we have seen a situation where the senators from the region, of course, they met with the Attorney General of the Federation, Chief Fabemi, asking for federal government to see whether they could drop the case against him. We have equally seen minority caucus in the House of Representatives calling on federal government to release him. And not just that, we are seeing stakeholder, religious leaders, traditional rulers in the eastern part of the country saying the same thing. And we are seeing the likes of Senator Ina Baribe still coming at the national level to say, okay, release this man for peace to reign in the eastern part of the country. We understand that it behoves on government to protect lives and property. We understand that the issue of security of the people and their welfare is at the cardinal point of governance. So the point here is, if what we need is the welfare of the people and their security, and releasing this man will engender the much needed atmosphere to bring about the welfare of the people and their security, particularly their security. I think for me is the way to go. If we are looking at what, because normally you understand that Nigeria currently have ratified the issue that has to do with self-determination, though it's a UN charter, but it has been ratified in Nigeria. So to that extent, if somebody is talking about self-determination, so long as the person is doing it within the abyss of the law, the person is not perhaps going through wanton destruction of lives and property, I don't think the person have offended any known law, whether locally or internationally. And if you look at all the accusation, allegation against anyone who may be agitating for self-determination, I don't think the government will find a way or to file any case against such person on the basis of self-determination. But for me, beyond who is right and who is wrong, I think political solution is the way to go, particularly with respect to the issue involving Nnamdi Kanu himself. Because we have seen a situation where every stakeholder at the state level, local government level, at every point in time have asked federal government allow this man to go for peace to reign. Though Bodejo was arrested by the military, though the allegation, or rather the reason for the arrest is, according to information in the public space, has to do with his disagreement with some with a retired military general also. And we have seen House of Assembly, National Assembly, the Green Chamber coming to ask the military authority to release him, perhaps because he's being held unconstitutionally and they are infringing on his fundamental human rights. So I think the right thing to do is, if you have a situation where any Nigerian have his right being tampered with by the relevant security agencies, the same way they are rising in the occasion to ask government to protect the fundamental human right of Badejo, and talking about the chairman of Miyetti Alah. I think the same thing is what the government should do, what the Halo chambers should do. It should not be restricted to a Badejo. It should be extended to any other Nigerian, for that matter, who have his rights being trampled upon. Remember that we had the issue of NSAS, and during that period, Nigerians, particularly the youths, vent their anger on what the police, on the government and the security agencies, though unfortunately the country witnessed wanton destructions of life and property, which would have been prevented if the authorities were doing the needful. To do the needful here is to ensure that anytime people raise issues of perhaps police maltreatment, high-handedness on the part of security agencies, extrajudicial killing, I think it behooves on the government to be proactive to address those issues. Because if you fail to address them, over time, the anger would have accumulated, and consequence of such is what we saw during the NSAS. But unfortunately, many years after that NSAS, the government seemed not to have addressed those issues raised. Because don't forget that by that time, we had the issue that has to do with the demand for, I think, 5 for 5, asking about the welfare of the police themselves, asking about the extrajudicial killing by police personnel should be addressed. There were about 5 demands then, and more than 2 years after that issue, the government seemed not to have addressed those issues. And if you judging by the report from different panels of inquiry across the federation that were set up to address the issue in different states, you go to show that actually the complaint of Nigerians against that tactical police unit, SARS, was a genuine one. We also saw revelation from different states talking about police brutality, SARS brutality, talking about extrajudicial killing, talking about extortion, and all that. It was all over the spread across different places in the country. But surprisingly, the government seemed to be foot dragging. The government seemed to be unwilling to address it. So for me, I think the government can do better by addressing those concerns, because one thing is certain, if you are not addressing it, you are kind of postponing the evil days. Because, like I said, if government were proactive to address complaints of Nigerians, I don't think NSAS would have happened. And currently, we do hear of Nigerians who complain of high-handedness of police personnel against Nigerians. And the other time, it's not just within the confine of Nigeria. There are instances where Nigerians in diaspora will complain about how their host community or their host country will be giving them inhuman treatment, not because they have violated any known law in their host country, but perhaps because of an issue that may not even be involving those citizens themselves directly. A case in hand is Nigeria versus Libya, when Nigeria had a sort of diplomatic row with Libya over the treatment Libyan government gave to Nigerian contingent when they went to Libya to play qualifying match for African Cup of Nations. Remember that FIFA slammed a penalty, a fine of $50,000 on Libya. But surprisingly, we saw videos that made it around then, Nigerians in Libya coming out to complain that Libyan authority is trying to force them to pay some amount of money, perhaps $500 per each person, to raise money to pay for that fine. And they were voicing their predicament, even saying that in some cases that even the Nigerian embassy in Libya is handicapped, that they may not even be able to help the situation. But why that happened, we didn't see much from the Nigerian government to address it. So I think the government of Nigeria can do better. Thank you very much. This is Nnamdi Kanu.